On our wedding day, I opened the door to the bridal suite. White dress bunched around her hips, her veil hanging off the nightstand, and my brother of honor moving above her like the vows had already been said in a different language. They didn't notice me, not at first. They were too wrapped in their betrayal. I didn't yell, I didn't throw anything. I stepped back into the hallway, took out my phone, and called her family. Every single one of them. Told them to come to her room, urgent. When they arrived, they found me leaning against the wall, calm. I pushed the door open for them. The screams came from her mother first. Her father just stood there, hands clenched, jaw set. I didn't say a word, not yet. Hours before, she'd kissed me at the altar rehearsal, told me I was the best man she'd ever known. Now I wondered how many times she'd said that, right before someone else's hands were on her. My brother of honor wasn't blood, but he'd been closer than family for a decade. We'd fought side by side in more than one way. I'd pulled him out of his worst nights, paid his rent, trusted him enough to stand next to me when I made the most important promise of my life. And she'd chosen him, not by accident, not in weakness, but in deliberate, repeated defiance of everything we'd built. I replayed every detail in my head. The late-night texts she claimed were work emergencies. The way his eyes lingered on her dress during fittings. The sudden private jokes between them. I'd noticed, but I told myself it was nothing. Nothing turned out to be everything. The night before the wedding, I'd left my phone recording in her room. A gut feeling, something between curiosity and dread, told me I needed to. When I played it back that morning, I heard her voice, breathless, not from rehearsing vows. Then his, one more before the ceremony. I'd stopped the recording right there. No rage, no heartbreak, just a sudden clarity. I'd been given a gift, and I knew how to use it. First, I made copies, audio, timestamps, hotel surveillance from a contact who owed me a favor. Then, I placed the USB drives into sealed envelopes. One for her father, one for her mother, one for the head of her family's business, the man whose opinion she feared more than any god. I didn't want her gone in shame. I wanted her surrounded by it. When the chaos in the room calmed enough for her to speak, she turned to me, tears in her eyes. "It's not what it looks like." I handed her father the envelope. "Open it," I said. He did. The room filled with their voices. Her laughter, his low groans. She froze. My brother stared at the floor. Her father's face went cold. Her mother backed away like my fiancé had turned into something contagious. I said nothing, because they were saying everything for me. I walked over to her. She looked at me like I might still forgive her, like there was a chance this could be smoothed over before the guests noticed. I leaned close enough for only her to hear. "This isn't the end of the wedding," I said. "It's just the change of cast." Confusion flickered across her face, right before her father told her to pack her things and leave. I turned to the stunned crowd at the door. "Please stay. The reception will go on." Then I looked at my brother of honor. "You can go with her, or you can face the rest of the guests and explain why your suit's on the floor." He left without a word. She followed. The wedding continued. Not for love, for control. The toasts were different now. People whispered. Eyes darted toward the empty seat beside me. I didn't care. In the end, I wasn't robbed of a wife. I was spared one. I walked out that night without looking back. The music still played, the wine still poured. Her family would never forget the humiliation. She would never escape it. And I would never need to raise my voice to make it happen. Sometimes you don't destroy people by fighting them. You let them destroy themselves, and then you turn the lights on. Moral of the story? When betrayal comes dressed as love, the most devastating revenge isn't rage, it's exposure.